दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेख अतिहीना। गुरुदेव
कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेख अतिहीना।
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेख अतिहीना।
कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेख अतिहीना।
सकल सहने बल दिया करो,
सकल सहने बल दिया करो,
सकल सहने बल दिया करो,
सकल सहने बल दिया करो।
निज माने स्पृहहीना,
निज माने स्पृहहीना,
निज माने स्पृहहीना।
निज माने स्पृहहीना।
सकले सम्मान करिते शकति देहनाथ जथा जथा।
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 तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुखे,
गाइबो हरि नाम सुखे।
तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुखे।
तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुखे।
अपराधे हबे हत,
आमार अपराध हबे हत।
अपराध हबे हत।
आमार अपराध हबे हत।
कबे हेनो कृपा लभिया ए जना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ।
कबे हेनो कृपा लभिया ए जना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ।
कबे हेनो कृपा लभिया ए जना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ।
कबे हेनो कृपा लभिया ए जना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ।
शक्ति बुद्धिहीना आमी अति दीना,
शक्ति बुद्धिहीना आमी अति दीना।
शक्ति बुद्धिहीना आमी अति दीना।
शक्ति बुद्धिहीना आमी अति दीना।
करो मोरे आत्मसात,
करो मोरे आत्मसात।
करो मोरे आत्मसात।
करो मोरे आत्मसात।
योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाय तुम्हार करुणा सार।
योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाई तुम्हारो करुणा सार।
योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाय तुम्हार करुणा सार।
योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाई तुम्हारो करुणा सार।
करुणा ना होइले कांदिया कांदिया,
करुणा ना होइले कांदिया कांदिया।
करुणा ना होइले कांदिया कांदिया।
करुणा ना होइले कांदिया कांदिया।
प्राण न रखिबो आर,
प्राण ना राखिबो आर।
प्राण न रखिबो आर
प्राणो न राखिबो आर
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेक्षतिहीना
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेक्षतिहीना
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जायामुदीरये।
ततो जायामुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेष्वभाद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवतीमुत्तमा श्लोके
भगवतीं सप्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter number 23, text number 1. लोग रिकॉर्डिंग चालू है ना? रिकॉर्डिंग हो रहा है। Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the name of the chapter? Third canto is the status quo. Name of chapter is Devavati's Lamentation. 23. Text 1. Maitreya Uvacha Pitribhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paricharyat pritya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paryacharat pritaya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paryacharat pritaya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paryacharat pritaya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paryacharat pritya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paryacharat pritya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paryacharat pritya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum Maitreya Uvacha Pitrabhyam prasthite sadhvi Patim ingita kovida Nityam paricharyat pritya Bhavani va bhavam prabhum. So this particular shloka, Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular section, around 5-6 verses. So Maitreya Uvacha. So Maitreya is speaking to Vidura. So this particular section is talking about when Kardama Muni, actually Kardama Muni was a very great sage and he desired to get married. So what he did, he engaged himself in austerities, tapasya, to please the Lord. And Lord appeared before him, and Kardam offered very beautiful prayers. So these prayers are also in the previous sections. And out of all the prayers, one prayer is very important. Can you show me the? Okay, just a minute. I'll just. It is in. Does someone have Veda base?
Yes.
Give me Veda base. More easier. So this particular. 3.21. Okay, yeah. So this verse appears in Canto 3, chapter number 21, verse number 15. 15, yeah. So what is going on? Kardam Muni wanted to get married, and what he is doing? He is engaging himself in austerities and penances to please the Lord, and being pleased, Lord appears before Kardam Muni. So Kardam Muni is offering his prayers. So out of many prayers, this particular prayer, Tatha Sachaham Parivodu Kama Samana Shilam Grihamedadhenum Upeivan Moolam Ashesha Moolam Durashaya Kama Dughangri Pasya. So here Kardam Muni is saying, therefore desiring to marry a girl of like disposition, who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty in my married life, to satisfy my lustful desires, I too have sought the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the source of everything, for you are like a desire tree. So my dear Lord, you are like a desire tree, you can fulfill all my desires. So I have come to you with a desire of getting married, and I need a suitable wife. I am desiring to marry a girl of like disposition, who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty in my married life. दूध देने वाली गाय शादी तो. So I want to get married with whom? With a girl of like disposition, and she should be like cow of plenty in my married life. Why I need to get married? Because naturally I have lusty desires to satisfy those lusty desires. So therefore I am seeking your shelter. So what is interesting about this particular section or particular shloka? Kardam Muni is approaching the Lord with a desire to get married, and he wants a suitable girl to get married. That means one can approach Lord with this desire as well. There is no doubt, there is no loss in that. Because this is what Srimad Bhagavatam actually is teaching us. Akamaha sarva kamova moksha kamo dharadi. If somebody is free from all desires, akamaha sarva kamova, and someone have all the kamnas, all the desires, and moksha kama, if somebody is desiring for liberation from this material entanglement. So akamaha sarva kamova moksha kama. What they need to do? Tibrena bhakti yogena yajata purusham param. They need to engage themselves in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord Tibrena bhakti yogena. The word is Tibrena. Tibra, this word, last time also we discussed this word, Tibra. Tibra means intense. So one can approach the Lord with this desire also. There is no harm in that. And Kardam Muni is Kardam Muni is what we say is very honest that, my dear Lord, I have certain lusty desires. I have desired some tinge of this desire to enjoy in this world. It is there, and therefore I need to get married. So kindly bless me with the suitable girl. So what this suitable girl will do? She will help me to satisfy my lusty desires. Not only that, she will also help me to reach the perfection of this human life. Both the things. By having a suitable girl, a girl with suitable disposition, what does it mean? It's not just the Kardam Muni was looking for a woman or a girl for satisfying his lusty desire. No, that was not the only purpose. So there is a difference between there are people, those who approach to different demigods or even Krishna with the desire to get married. But for them, desire to get married means they go to Krishna, they offer their prayers, God, give me a beautiful girl so that I can marry. For what? Why you need to marry? So that I can satisfy my desires. But this is one portion. But Kardam Muni is having another version. I want to satisfy my desires as well as I need to achieve the perfection of my life. What are the perfections of life? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. I need a girl with whom I can engage myself in Dharma, Artha, Kama, and ultimately Moksha. Or even beyond that, I can achieve the perfection of my life, Krishna Bhakti. So what's the difference between ordinary people going to Krishna asking for girl, and what is the difference between Kardam Muni going to Krishna and asking for a girl? Ordinary people, their only concern is to satisfy their desires, not concerned about the higher principles of life. Whereas Kardam Muni just does not want to satisfy his lusty desires. There is one more shloka where he is talking about Deha Dharma. He is saying that it is the necessity of my, I have got this material body, it's necessity, and therefore I need to get married. Great says Kardam, O Supreme Lord, my sight is now fulfilled. Anyway, I'm getting that particular shloka. Anyway, so although Kardam in these prayers is expressing that it's true that it's a kind of distraction, but still what can I do? I have this material body and I have certain material desires, and I cannot remain like a brahmachari. I need to get married. So he is offering these prayers. So what Lord said that after 2-3 days, Manu will come with his daughter, and he'll hand over his daughter to you, and you get married with her. Lead a very comfortable life, enjoy life. At the same time, strive for perfection, and one day you will achieve perfection. So ideal Grihastha life means someone who is in Grihastha life, he enjoy his Grihastha life, simultaneously engage themselves in Krishna consciousness, and then finally achieve the perfection. So this was the Kardam Muni offered prayers to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu reciprocated. After that, chapter number 23 that we are discussing. So Kardam Muni was sitting in his hermitage. Manu came with his daughter, and handed over daughter to Kardama. Who is this Manu? He is Swayambhu Manu. How many sons Swayambhu Manu have? 2 sons, Priyabrat and Uttanpad. And how many daughters? 3 daughters, Akuti, Prasuti and Devahuti. So this is Devahuti. So Manu came and handed over Devahuti to Kardama. After Manu left, what Devahuti did is explained in the few shlokas. After Manu left, कन्यादान करने के बाद Manu left, what Devahuti did is expressed in next few shlokas. Now, why is it important for us to understand these shlokas? What Devahuti did, why is it of relevance to us? Why is it relevant? What Devahuti did, why is it relevant to us?
Initially, when we come to this material world, we try to gratify our senses, but after a certain time, when we get frustrated, then we lament for that.
Okay, so Devahuti's lamentation, chapter is Devahuti's lamentation. Okay, but we'll not go up to that extent, we'll just do 3-4 shlokas. Up till 5 shloka, that's all. This particular section is explaining what Devahuti did after Manu left, or how Devahuti served her husband. Now this particular section is important for women to understand, that this is how they should serve their husband. But for a practicing devotee, these particular shlokas are important because the way Devahuti served her husband Kardama. So it is said that just like husband is not just a protector, he is also acting like a guru. Pati guru. Pati is also considered to be a guru. In that sense, wife is disciple. So how a disciple should serve his spiritual master, from this particular shlokas we are going to get that particular lesson. Are you understanding? Therefore this section is important. Another lesson one can derive, okay, if I want to get married, so let me check it out, which girl will serve me in this way? You will not find anyone. On internet you can put, on matrimonial you can put requirements. I want to get married with the girl, and prerequisitive hours, she should serve me in certain way. So what are the certain ways? These are the ways. You will not find anyone. Anyway, so how a disciple should serve spiritual master, this particular section is explaining us. So Pitrabhyam Prasthite Sadhvi. Prasthite means they left. Who left? Pitrabhyam, like mother and father of Devahuti left. Then what she did, it is explained. The first word is Sadhvi. What does it mean, Sadhvi? Sadhvi means chaste. The first quality of a disciple is he must be chaste towards his spiritual master. Chastity. These are the qualities that a disciple need to. Chastity means unalloyed, unadulterated. The opposite of analome of chastity is adultery. Chastity versus adultery. So it is expected that a wife must be chaste towards husband. A disciple must be chaste towards spiritual master, chaste towards his parampara, chaste towards his philosophy. This is called chastity. Ingit Kobida. Patim Ingit Kobida. Ingit Kobida means इंगित कोविदा, इशारे को समझने वाली. कोविद मतलब वन हु कैन अंडरस्टैंड. इंगित मीन्स इशारा. मुंह से बोलना नहीं पड़ना चाहिए. हु इज अ गुड डिसाइपल? without even spiritual master need not have to say, simply understanding the desires of spiritual master and fulfilling it. इंगित कोविदा, इशारा को समझना. So how many qualities we covered? Sadhavi, that means chaste, and second is ingit kovida. Then nityam paricharyat. Nityam means always. So there are different types of devotees. Kabhi kabhi wale devotee and everyday wale devotee. There are few devotees who appear only on Sundays. There are few disciples only appear when their guru comes to temple. Other days they are not present. They are not visible. They are on hibernate mode, airplane mode, no network. Nityam paricharyat. Devotional service means Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Nityam. Guru service means Nityam. And Guru service means what? Engaging in Guru service Nityam. If Guruji is present, then I can engage myself in his service. If he is not present, then following his instruction, because there are two types of services. One is the Vani Seva and another is the Vapu Seva. Vapu Seva means serving the physical form of the Guru. Guru does not have a physical form, but still means in his Vapu, serving his Vapu. But when he is not present, following his instruction. Now there is a question: which service is greater, Vani Seva or Vapu Seva? Huh? Vani Seva is greater or Vapu Seva is greater? This is the correct answer, but Vani Seva is important. But actually, what is more important, you know? What Guru desires. If Guru is desiring you to do Vapu Seva, you say, no, Guru, I will follow your Vani Seva, I will go and follow your Vani. Guruji is directly saying, do my Vapu Seva. So what Guru is desiring from a disciple? If a Guru is desiring do Vapu Seva, do Vapu Seva. Guru is desiring do Vani Seva, do Vani Seva. And if Guru is not desiring anything from you, that means you are a rascal. He is not desiring anything. Hopeless case. Sadhavi, Ingit Kovida, Nityam Parichayat. Nityam Parichayat means always serving. So when you serve someone always, then there is a possibility that there is no emotions, there is no sentiment, there is no love. Sometimes it happens. When pujaris every day they go to altar, sometimes they become frustrated. Why only I am going? Why am only I being given these services? So they do service, but sometimes with grudging mood. Anyone, because we are conditioned by the modes of material nature. Sometimes when we are in Sattva-guna, we do service very in an enjoying mood. But sometimes when we are in mode of passion or ignorance, then the same service becomes very intolerable. But here it is said Nityam Parichayat, serving always. Then comes the word Pritya, with love. How one must serve his spiritual master? With love. Serving always with love. Pritya. So Sadhvi, Ingit Kovida, Nityam Parichayat, Pritya. And the analogy is given Bhavani eva Bhavam Prabhu. Just like Parvati served her husband Lord Shiva. And the question arises, why this particular example is being quoted? Parvati serving Shiva. Why not Lakshmi serving Vishnu? Because Lakshmi is always serving Vishnu. She is always there at the feet of Lord Vishnu, serving him. So why that example is not given and this example is given? What do you think? Maitreya could have given this example just like Lakshmi serving Narayana. Why Maitreya is giving this example? Just like Bhavani served Bhava, just like Durga served Parvati served Shiva. Why that analogy? Not that analogy. Analogy means there must be similar points. So what similarities between Bhavani and Devahuti? And what is the similarity between Kardam and Shiva? What are the similarities? Huh? Kardam is living in forest, in hermitage. Shiva is living in forest, hermitage, Himalaya. And Bhavani or Parvati is daughter of a king. Similarly, Devahuti is daughter of king. So, daughter of king, leaving aside all her opulences, all her false ego, this feeling that I am coming from such a big family, rich family, my father is a king, and why should I stay in your hermitage, in your cottage with no facilities and serve you? If the example of Lakshmi would have been given, then Lakshmi serving Narayana, so Narayana is full of opulence, so no problem. लक्ष्मी घर में एसी, नारायण के घर में एसी है, नो प्रॉब्लम. लक्ष्मी घर, लेकिन पार्वती घर में एसी है कि देवभूति घर में एसी लगा हुआ है, लेकिन करदम 50 डिग्री तापमान के अग्नि में झुलस रहे हैं भुवनेश्वरी गर्मी में, नहीं. Make sense? So therefore this analogy is given. Why Bhavani Eva Bhavam Prum? Just like Parvati gave up all her opulences, she gave up all her comforts that she was getting in her father's home. She was ready to come to Lord Shiva. Devahuti left all her comforts, came to Kardam, accepted to stay with him in his cottage. You can well imagine what is the difference between palace and cottage. No comfort. There she was having so many maid servants, here no one. So just to contrast this particular image, difference, this particular analogy is being quoted. That means how a disciple should serve his spiritual master. A disciple may have all the comforts in his previous, where his father's home, but he should give up all those comforts and ready to stay in Guru's ashram and serve Guru. Just like Devahuti served Kardam, or just like Parvati served Lord Shiva. So how many points we have covered? Sadhavi, Ingit Kovida, Nityam Parichaya, Pritaya, and the analogy is given just like Parvati serving Shiva. 5 points we have covered. Then विश्रम्भेण आत्मशौचेन गौरवेण दमेन च शुश्रूषया सौहृदेन वाचा मधुरयच्च भो. So Vishrambhena means with intimacy. So serving Guru, serving spiritual master with intimacy. What does it mean, intimacy? Of course the reverence is there, because the next word is, the third word is Gauravena. Reverence will be there, but then there is intimacy. In order to understand this word Vishrambhena, you just consider how Prabhupada's disciple used to serve him. If you read Prabhupada Lilamrit, if you read different biographies of disciples of Srila Prabhupada, so how they were serving Srila Prabhupada with great intimacy, great love, great attraction. Vishrambhena. This is how a disciple should serve his spiritual master. Vishrambhena. His mind. There is this feeling of intimacy, closely connected. I was reading Tamal Krishna Maharaj when first met Srila Prabhupada. So he was very much attracted by Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada used to live in some particular place in one apartment, like half a kilometer from temple. So Maharaj Tamal Krishna, I was just reading yesterday. Tamal Krishna said, I used to sit outside the apartment on the staircase, waiting sometime that Srila Prabhupada give me audience. Srila Prabhupada will call me. So he used to sit there, he used to chant there, just feeling he completely sheltered under Srila Prabhupada's protection. So Atmiyata, this is called intimacy. Atmiyata, he is mine. This is the feeling. Vishrambhena. Atma Shauchena. So this is sixth one. Vishrambhena. Then comes Atma Shauchena. Shauchena means purity. Atma means body, Atma means soul. Means Atma also means mind. So here Atma means with purity of mind and body. So one must serve spiritual master. Purity of body, at the same time purity of mind. Both the things are important. Then comes Gauravena. Gaurav. What do you mean by Gaurav? Have you heard this word Gaurav? Proud and Gaurav, there is a little difference. Sanskrit actually have, Gaurav means it's a heavy feeling. Pride is a negative or a narrow feeling. Gaurav, मेरे गुरु हैं, समझ रहे हैं? He is my spiritual master. Gaurav. When you see Srila Prabhupada, what is the feeling? Gaurav, Gauravena. ISKCON is our society, Prabhupada's society. We are part of ISKCON. Gaurav. एक गौरव की बात है. It's a matter of great privilege, Gaurav. So pride with privilege, something like that, Gaurav. So Vishrambhena, Atma Shauchena, Gauravena, and then come Damena. One cannot serve spiritual master if one's senses are not under control. Naturally, you cannot serve. There is no question of service without sense control. Damena. So Vishrambhena, Atma Sauchena, Gauravena, Damena. Cha. Sushrushya, service with Sauhridena. Now, what is the difference between Vishrambhena and Sauhridena? Here it is written with intimacy, here it is written with love. Sauhrida. Sauhad means what? Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. Suhrid means well-wisher. So the right word is well-wisher. How a disciple should serve spiritual master? As his well-wisher. For example, bathroom lights are on. We do not care. What does it mean? I am not a well-wisher of Prabhupada because I am wasting Prabhupada's money. That means I do not have this feeling of Sauhard, well-wisher. I am not well-wishing. That means I am using his facilities, but I am not concerned about the upliftment of his mission. How can we say this? Because we are wasting his energy, his money. So if somebody is wasting his money, that means what? He is not very conscious about Guru's well-wishing. This is called Sauhridana. Acting in such a way that will bring down the name of Guru and his mission. That means this particular devotee does not have this feeling of Sauhad. He is not a well-wisher of the movement. Why not? He may be serving, but this particular feeling is missing. Because if somebody is serving, he should say, I am an ISKCON devotee. If I'll do in such and such way, then name of my spiritual master will get will get collapsed. So therefore, I should not act in this way. I should act in this way. If I am publicly appearing somewhere, what I am saying, what I am not saying, has to be very much calculated. Why? Because that may bring down the name of my spiritual master if I am not cautious. That means I am not the well-wisher of my spiritual master. Here the word is Sauhadra. Well-wisher, Suha. Real love means service, love means intimacy, but love also means that acting in such a way that we should not bring the name of our spiritual master down. So this is called Sohad. So Vishrambhena means intimacy. Now there are devotees, those who have intimacy, but sometimes they do not know how to act in such a way that, like, presenting their spiritual master to others, they do not know, and therefore they end up, instead of taking his name up, bringing it down. So therefore these qualities we are understanding. Vishrambhena, Atma Sauchena, Gauravena, Damena cha, Sushreya means serving, Sauhridena, with a feeling of love, with a feeling of well-wisher. Then come, not all this thing is important. Other thing is Vacha Madhuraya cha. A woman should serve her husband with sweet words. Similarly, a disciple should serve Guru with sweet words. So these words are very important. बिना हड्डी की, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, बिना हड्डी की जीभ कित्तों की हड्डियां तोड़ देती है, ऐसे कहावत है नहीं. So words are very important. चाणक्य पंडित से माता यस्य गृहम नास्ति भार्या जद अप्रियवादिनी अरण्यम तेन गंतव्यम यथा अरण्यम तथा गृहम. जिनकी माँ घर पे नहीं है और जिसकी पत्नी मीठा नहीं बोलती है, उन्हें क्या करना चाहिए? अरण्यम तेन गंतव्यम, दे शुड गो टू फॉरेस्ट. तो यथा अरण्यम तथा गृहम, जैसा जंगल वैसा घर. स्टिल जंगल में शांति मिल जाएगी, घर में नहीं मिलेगी. जिनकी पत्नी मीठा नहीं बोलती है, उन्हें क्या चाहिए? अरण्यम तेन गंतव्यम. So Maitri is telling that Devahuti used to serve her husband with sweet words. तो पति बहुत कष्ट करके बाहर से आया है, घर के अंदर घुसा है, तो क्या चाहिए? थोड़ा ठंडा पानी और ठंडा वचन. और घुसते ही झगड़ा शुरू. You must have seen, like there are people, there are women like this. We have seen. Husband enters, fighting starts. So whole day he was fighting outside. So he was expecting that I'll go home, I'll have some sweet words, sweet exchanges. But no question of sweet exchanges. Fighting again. So what will be the destination? One IAS officer committed suicide few years back. You have seen that video? One IAS officer committed suicide simply because his wife used to fight with the husband's parents. Every time they were fighting. So he became so frustrated. IAS officer from Guwahati, I'll show you that video. So he committed suicide simply because no peace at home. घर मतलब क्या होता है? There must be peace, but there is no peace. Peace. टुकड़े. Service means it should be. There are devotees those who serve. But serving with sweet words is very good quality. We have seen devotees serving. There are many devotees who serve, but serve with मैं नहीं करूंगा तो कौन करेगा? करते भी जा रहे हैं, मतलब सेवा भी कर रहे हैं लेकिन गुस्सा भी कर रहे हैं. इस प्रकार की सेवा ठीक है, सेवा का कुछ फल मिलेगा, दे विल गेट सम बेनिफिट, बट इज नॉट ए वेरी गुड एटीट्यूड. वन शुड, हाँ, सेवा भी करेगा, गुरु जी के पैर भी दबाएगा, मुझे ही बताना पड़ता बस. तो दबा भी रहा है और चिल्ला भी रहा है. So that is not considered to be very good quality. Very good quality means पृथ्वी त्रीणि रत्नानि जल अन्नम सुभाषितम मूढ़या पाषाण खंडेषु रत्न संज्ञा विधेयत. There are 3 ratna in this prithvi: jal, anna and subhashitam, sweet words. But foolish people regard mudaya pashan khandeshu ratna sangya videyat. Those who are foolish, they consider stones to be ratna. Stones are not ratna. Hire moti are not actually ratna. Ratna is jal, anna and sweet words. So this is very beautiful quality, madhuraya, vacha madhuraya. So one should serve with sweet words. Now it is not artificial, of course. It has to be cultivated. Prabhupada writing. So here 2 words are very significant. Devahuti served her husband in 2 ways: Vishrambhena and Gauravena. These are 2 important processes in serving the husband or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishrambhena means with intimacy and Gauravena means with great reverence. The husband is very intimate friend and therefore wife must render service just like an intimate friend. At the same time, she must understand the husband is superior in position and thus she must offer him all respect. Similarly, a disciple should be very intimate with spiritual master. Intimate means he should be very open, he should tell everything to the spiritual master. But at the same time, do not consider spiritual master to be on his platform. So there should be intimacy, at the same time there must be reverence. In other words, sometimes spiritual master deal very intimately with the disciple. But disciple should not forget the position of spiritual master and consider spiritual master to be on his platform. गुरु कभी चेले के कंधे पे हाथ रख सकता है, वाइस वर्सा नहीं चलेगा कि चेला गुरु के कंधे पे हाथ रख दे. A man's psychology and women's psychology are different as constituted by bodily frame. A man always wants to be superior to his wife and woman as bodily constituted is naturally inferior to the husband. ये feminist सुनेंगे तो विद्रोह कर देंगे. Thus the natural instinct is that husband wants to post himself as superior to wife and this must be observed. This must be observed, Prabhupada writing. Men have men's ego. If somebody wants a very wonderful relationship, women and husband, like wife and husband want good relationship, so wife must not, like she should always act in such a way that ego of husband is not hurt, because husband have men's ego, male ego is always high, and in return wife should always feel protected and secure. If a man is talking to some other women, at that time this woman feels insecure and therefore relationship collapse. Or if woman is not respecting husband sufficiently and always hurting his ego, then relationship collapse. Publicly बैठे हुए हैं, पत्नी आई और झकझक चलाना शुरू कर दी, ये रिलेशनशिप नहीं चलेगा. क्यों? अंदर जितना चिल्लाना चिल्लाओ, publicly do not hurt his ego. This is the natural psychology. If somebody wants a good relationship, this must be observed. Husband should give the feeling of security and protection to women, and women should give the feeling of like superiority to husband, and then the relationship will continue. This is natural instinct that a husband wants to post himself superior to wife, and this must be observed. Even if there is some wrong on the part of husband, the wife must tolerate it, and thus there will be no misunderstanding between husband and wife. Who must tolerate? Wife must tolerate. Why? Because wife can tolerate. Because that is her natural instinct, that is her natural quality. Vishrambhena means intimacy. It must not be familiarity that breeds contempt. So there is a difference between intimacy and over familiarity. Familiarity breeds contempt. Ati paricharyat avagyat. Ati parichaya avagyat. When we go too close to Guru, we start what we start doing? Too परिचय, ज़्यादा अति परिचय हो गया, अवज्ञात. हाँ, गुरु तो कैसे बोलते रहते हैं, अवज्ञा. Intimacy and familiarity have different meaning. Serving spiritual master with intimacy and reverence, that means close at the same time keeping proper distance. The best example is how we deal with fire. Not too far, otherwise it will be बीरबल की खिचड़ी जो पकेगी नहीं, and not too close, जल जाएगा. There should be an optimum distance जिससे काम हो जाए. Similarly, when we come across spiritual master, spiritual personalities, not too far, पास जाएंगे तो अपराध हो जाएगा, तो दूर ही रहो. तो इससे आध्यात्मिक कल्याण, there will be no spiritual progress. And not too close, क्या होगा? Offense. So there has to be optimum distance. Familiarity and intimacy. So it is said one must serve spiritual master with intimacy, but not with familiarity. The best example of familiarity is being shown by Indra. Or let's say worst example. Indra was sitting on his throne, 6th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. At that time Brihaspati entered. So Indra thought every day, हर दिन तो आते हैं ये, क्या आज उनको प्रणाम करना है? प्रणाम नहीं किया. So Brihaspati understood that now he is puffed up with his so-called opulence, and Brihaspati left. And then Indra understood that I have made a big offense by disrespecting my spiritual master, and the result will be all my material opulences will be taken away. And it happened. Indra lost his kingdom simply because Brihaspati was displeased by his behavior. Too familiar. Indra became too familiar. हर दिन तो आते हैं, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Similarly, Bali Maharaj, rather on the contrary, Bali Maharaj, he served his spiritual master Shukracharya with intimacy and Vishrambhena, Gauravena, with intimacy and reverence. As a result, Bali got all the powers. He took over the kingdom of Swarga. यस्य प्रसादात भगवत प्रसादो यस्य अप्रसादात न गति कुतोपि. Vishrambhena means intimacy, but it must not be familiarity that breeds contempt. According to the Vedic civilization, a wife cannot call her husband by name. That was Vedic civilization. In the present civilization, the wife calls husband by name, but in Hindu civilization, she does not. Still, in Hinduism, she does not call by name. Thus, the inferiority and superiority complexes are recognized. Then comes Damena. A wife has to learn to control herself, even if there is a misunderstanding. Sahridena Vacha Madhuraya means always desiring good for husband. Yeah, Sahridena means always desiring good and acting in such a way that it brings good. And speaking to him with sweet words. A person becomes agitated by so many material contacts in outside world. Therefore, in his home life, he must be treated by his wife with sweet words. Then comes Visrajya Kamam, Visrajya Kamam, Visrajya Kamam, Dambham Cha, Dvesham Lobham Agam Madam, Apramatodayat Nityam, Tejaisam Atoshayat. So it is said, Visarjya Kamam. Visarjya Kamam means she gave up lust, pride and envy. Lobham means greed. Agam means sinful activities. Madam means vanity. Apramatta Udyat Nityam. Apramatta Udyat Nityam. So she was serving Apramatta means very sanely and diligently. Apramatta means pagal nahi. That means she was serving using her intelligence. So while serving emotion is good. At the same time, there must be intelligence. Serving with emotions and sentiments, at the same time with intelligence. I remember when Guru Maharaj Bhaktacharya Maharaj came here to our CET base. So I garlanded him downstairs. So I was too emotional, Guru Maharaj garland. And what I did, garland का ऐसा होता है ना इस तरह, it have like what is symmetry. It was not symmetrical, it was hanging like this. Guru said, make it nice, do it nicely. So serving with emotions is good. At the same time, there should be intelligence. There has to be the combination of both. And therefore, to understand this, we need, like what I am doing these days is, I am reading different books like Tamal Krishna Maharaj's biography, Garg Muni's biography, Brahmanand Pur's biography, and biography of Giriraj Maharaj wrote a book how he was engaged by Srila Prabhupada in building Juhu temple, Bhaktacharya Maharaj's biography. Different biographies I am reading just to find out what was their mood in serving their spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. So by this we come to know about the right attitude, or what corrections that Prabhupada offered to them. What was their mood while serving? How they brought all these qualities into their service. So therefore, our goal is to become a good disciple. Therefore, we should read about good disciples. Our goal is to become a good disciple. Therefore, we should read about. There is a story of Aruni. You have heard this story? Dhaumya Rishi had 3 disciples. One was Aruni, other was Ved, and other was, what was his name? You don't know? Give me an internet. Very famous story. You have not heard these stories? So Dhaumya Rishi had 3 disciples. Yeah. One was Aruni, other was Ved, and other was Upamanyu. You heard this story? Never? Wahi. So Aruni, Ved and Upamanyu, very good disciples. So we should learn. So we have Aruni, we have Ved, and we have Upamanyu. And we have Dhaumya Rishi. So one day, Aruni was asked by Guru to water his field so that cereal crop would grow well. The water had to be brought into the field through a canal from a tank which was little far away, and the tank was shallow. So Aruni dug a canal and water started flowing into the field. Then unfortunately a breach developed in one of the bunds of the canal, and the water started draining out, escaping through the breach, and thus stopping the flow of water into the field. Aruni tried his best to fill up the breach by piling up stones and filling it with sand, but he could not succeed. The water was going waste, and he was worried as how to get the field filled with water. Then he had an idea. He laid down on the side of breach, thus blocking it. The water thereby started flowing into the field. He remained there in the same position, the field, so that water get fully. It was late in night, and the boy did not return home. The Guru was worried as what would have been happened to him. As he went to the field searching for him, he was surprised and felt glad to find the field full of water, which had never happened before. But at the same time, he was worried Aruni was nowhere in sight. He called, Aruni, Aruni. And from the waters of the canal, Aruni replied in the feeble voice Gurudev, I am here. The Guru reached to him and pulled him out. Aruni fell prostrate at Guru's feet and offered his obeisances. The Guru was touched by the boy's unselfish devotion to him, placing his hand on boy's head, blessing him, saying, "May you become proficient and gain mastery in all Vedas and Shastras." So this is the story of Aruni. So Aruni was instructed. What was the instruction? To fill the field with water. So therefore he made a canal, but somehow the canal broke, and he tried his best to stop the water, but could not do that. So what he did? He laid himself there itself. So he lied down there, so that water could not flow outside. In the evening, when Guru saw that Aruni was not there, could not find him, so he came running, find out that Aruni is lying there. He became pleased by the service of Aruni. Similarly, there was the story of Bed. He was another disciple of Dhaumya Rishi. Guru asked Bed to till the land, sow the seed, raise the crop, and take care till harvest was complete and the grains were safely brought home. So what Bed did? Bed worked hard on the field, day in and day out, without wasting a single moment, sparing no pains. Due to his relentless efforts, the crop came out very well and yielded a very rich harvest. Bed loaded the grains on cart and started to drive the cart to Guru's house. The load was too heavy that the bullock was unable to draw the cart. कितनी फसल आई होगी आप सोच सकते हैं. The Bed was also trying to pull the cart along with the bullock. Unfortunately, the bullock got stuck up in the mire, and the cart's wheels also sank deep down in the mud. Bed let the bullock free and started with all his strength to push the cart wheels and make the cart move. In the process, he almost lost his breath and was about to collapse. Dhaumya Rishi was coming to see how Bed was faring with collection of the harvest. On the way, he saw that the heavily loaded cart and Bed. Alas, he found that Bed was tottering on his feet, collapsing almost on the verge of death. The Guru was very much moved with his selfless and steadfast devotion. He pulled Bed out of the mire and placed his right hand on his head, which immediately revived him. Not only that, Bed was also received total enlightenment and knowledge with the blessed touch of the Guru. So this was the story of Bed. And third one was Upamanyu. So Upamanyu was a very devoted disciple, but he had an habit of overeating. So Guru wanted to curb this habit of his overindulgence with food. The Guru gave Upamanyu the task of looking after cattle. The grazing grounds were far away. Upamanyu used to leave home early in the morning along with the herd and used to come back in late evening. During this time, he was supposed to eat very little food that Guru used to give him. However, being unable to control his hunger, he used to beg alms from nearby houses. The Guru, finding boy still fat, asked him what he was eating in afternoons. Upamanyu told him that he was begging alms and eat it. Guru said he should not eat it but bring it to him and eat whatever the Guru gave him. Upamanyu started doing that, what Guru said, but he was still feeling hungry. So he started drinking the remnants of milk from the cow udders. So Guru find out, still he is fat. What you are eating? I am drinking milk. No, you cannot do that. Then Upamanyu became very much emaciated for lack of food. Unable to bear the hunger one day, seeing some milk-like sap exude from the plant, he drank it. It was poisonous and it affected the eyes nerves and made him blind. While driving the cattle home in the evening, he couldn't find the way due to his lost eyesight and he fell into a well. He did not reach home. Dhaumya Rishi went searching for him, calling out his name. When Upamanyu answered, the Guru saw his disciple fall into well. He pulled him out, and after hearing the entire story, the Guru was moved by his truthful and implicit obedience. He asked him to chant the invocation mantra to Ashwini Devatas. After chanting the mantra, Upamanyu instantly regained the sight, and he was received the scriptural knowledge and wisdom with Guru's blessings. And later he became a most renowned Rishi. So he became a Guru to great Shishya like Undaka, who presided over the great serpent sacrifice of King Janmeja, which brought even Indra down from the heaven. So Upamanyu became Guru to Undaka. And who was Undaka? He actually made this whole fire sacrifice for King Janmeja, Nag Dahan Sanskar, Nag Dahan. So this is the story of 3 disciples. What are the 3 disciples? Aruni did what? Laid down in the canal. Then bathe. What he did? Good harvest and taking the bullock cart. And third was Upamanyu, fat boy. So these are the 3 disciples of which Rishi? Dhaumya Rishi. And because of their obedience to the spiritual master blessed them with spiritual vision. So this is the what we say benediction one received from spiritual master. Yasya devo para deve yatha de. What is that slok? Yasya deve para. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru. One who have para bhakti to the Supreme Lord, at the same time to the spiritual master. Tasyeta kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. For them, the Vedic knowledge is revealed within the heart. Similar incidents that comes in Bhagavatam, which canto? 10th canto, the example of Sudama and Krishna. The same benediction they have received. Have you read that particular section? Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 81. The Brahmana Sudama visiting Dwarka. So this particular story is appearing. Yeah, 80 chapter 80. Yeah, 10.80.31. My dear Brahman, do you remember how we lived together in our spiritual master's school? In 502 70 Dream apartment, how we lived together? When a twice born student has learned from his guru all that is to be learned, he can enjoy spiritual life which lies beyond all ignorance. My dear friend, he who gives birth a person, his physical birth, is his first spiritual master. And he who initiates him as twice born Brahman and engaging him in religious duties, indeed more directly his spiritual master. But a person who bestows transcendental knowledge upon the master of this spiritual order is one's ultimate spiritual master indeed. The Lord is saying, I, the soul of all beings, am not satisfied by ritual worship or Brahminical initiation, penances or self-discipline, as I am by faithful service rendered to one's spiritual master. क्या करो उसको लगा दो ना. Do you remember what happened to us while we were living together in a with a spiritual master? Once our guru's wife sent us to fetch firewood, and after we entered the vast forest, O twice born, an unseasonal storm arose with fierce wind and rain and harsh thunder. Then as the sun set, the forest was covered by darkness in every direction. With all the flooding, we could not distinguish high from low. Constantly besieged by powerful wind and rain, we lost our way amidst the flooding waters. We simply held each other's hand and in great distress wandered aimlessly about the forest. Our Guru Sandipani, understanding our predicament, set out after sunrise to search for us, his disciples, and found us in distress. Sandipani said, "O my children, you have suffered so much for my sake. The body is most dear to every living creature, but you are so dedicated to me that you completely disregarded your own comfort. This indeed is the duty of all true disciples, to repay the debt to their spiritual master by offering him with pure hearts their wealth, even their very lives. You boys are first class Brahmin, and I am satisfied with you. May all your desires be fulfilled, and may the Vedic mantras you have learned never lose their meaning for you in this world or the next." So this is the benediction that is given by Sandipani to Krishna and Sudama, that whatever you have learned, you will never forget. Now there is a story in Mahabharata, when Guru became displeased, whatever that particular person learned, he forgot everything. With Karna. Because Karna displeased his spiritual master Parshuram. Karna told lie to Parshuram that I am a Brahmin, but he was not a Brahmin. And how Parshuram got to know that? Yeah, when Parshuram was taking rest, keeping his head on Karna's lap, at that time one particular some insect was biting Karna. It was scorpion, whatever. And then Karna could tolerate so much so that this scorpion had taken away the flesh of his body. And the blood was coming out. And when this blood actually stuck to the body of Parshuram, he got up. He saw what happened. And when he found out that Karna could tolerate so much pain, Parshuram said, "Karna, you are tolerating so much pain, that means you are not a Brahmin. Because Brahmin cannot tolerate physical pain. A Brahmin can tolerate insults, but he cannot tolerate physical pain. A Kshatriya can tolerate physical pain, but he cannot tolerate insult. There is a difference between Kshatriya and Brahmin. So you are able to tolerate so much physical pain. That means you are not a Brahmin. You told me lie. And because you are a liar, I curse you that whatever I have taught you, you will forget in the opportune moment." And he forgot. So what Sandipani is telling here to Krishna and Sudama, that whatever you have learned, you will not only remember this in this life, but life after life. And what curse Karna got? That because you lied me, you have cheated me, so I am cursing you, and you will forget whatever you learned. No value at all. So therefore, if someone pleases the spiritual master, then what happens? He gets the benediction. Spiritual, just like these three disciples. So they got spiritual realization simply by pleasing Dhaumya Rishi. So this is the secret. And similarly with Devahuti and Kardam Muni, although Kardam Muni was engaged in Krishna consciousness, Devahuti was not engaged. But simply because Devahuti served Kardam Muni with the qualities that we have discussed, the result for the next sloka will come, that Kardam Muni said that you have sacrificed so much for me, and therefore, although I have engaged in penances and austerities, but you will get the benefit of it. That means Guru is engaging in penances and austerities, but if a disciple simply serves the spiritual master, he get all the benefits. A disciple need not have to undergo all those, difficult penances. That, say for example, what Srila Prabhupada has done, so much austerities. We need not have to go to undergo those austerities. We simply have to please Srila Prabhupada. And the way to please Srila Prabhupada is to follow his instruction. He has said that chant 16 rounds, 4 regulatory principles, engage in Krishna consciousness, serve. So he has given us a little bit to do. If we'll do that, he'll become pleased. The result will be that whatever austerities and penances he has done, that benediction will come to us automatically. That is the secret. You see, whatever our acharyas have done, the penances, the level of Shad Goswami used to stay where? Under the tree. And that too, like they used to change the tree every day, every night. Why? So that they do not want to get attached. But we are staying in a very comfortable position. So because they have done the austerities, those austerities we cannot perform. Bhakti Thakur for 10 years constantly was chanting. Those austerities we cannot perform. Prabhupada, when he was in India, he was preparing hard. Whole life he was committed. Those austerities we cannot perform. But what we can do is, if we can serve them by obeying their instruction, their blessings will come to us. Spiritual relation will become easy. Divyagyan Hridaya Prakashita. This spiritual knowledge, this transcendental knowledge, one cannot achieve by mundane speculation or by reading the scriptures or by memorizing the verses. It comes only by the mercy of spiritual master. And how this mercy comes? Simply by following the instruction. How to follow the instruction? With the qualities that were mentioned in this particular section. This is the key. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.